This is a tribute to Robert Pante, a fabulous being, an important person in my life over the past 28 years who have unconditionally and lovingly, always constantly pouring this infusions of love, aliveness, and championing transformation in my life. So for 28 years of being a friend, initially a student, to a friend and a spiritual sister to Robert Pante, and to actually condense all this 28 years of relationship, this connection, into 3 pieces of paper. It's like a disservice, but I don't want to go too long-winded, and also some of the precious experience are really meant to be kept within the heart. So, but to the best I can, and with love and gratitude, I wrote this 2.5 pages long of tribute to Robert Pante. Robert Pante passed away on September 20th with a stroke in the old folks' home. And I heard that he was taken to the memorial care, and he has already been cremated. So even though physically he's no longer here with me or with us, but in another dimension, energy-wise, he's always living and alive, pulsating with bliss, freedom, and joy. Muktananda. I first met Robert Pante when I was 17 through a sister I met in church. This sister was a successful real estate agent, businesswoman who sponsored me to attend seminars and also did a 40-day water fasting at my home with prayers. So that was the first time I witnessed about, water fasting and how powerful it is in cleansing not only the body but the soul. So one fine day, she brought me to the first National Achievers Congress in 1997, and that was when I saw Robert Pante. When Robert Pante was presenting on stage, something about him was so magnetic and yet powerfully resonating within me that I knew I'd know this person before many lifetimes ago. It was rather intense. As a kid, I had this ability and sensitivity about energies. So Robert was famous, and I was just a student struggling to finish up my studies in fashion while my parents were going through fierce divorce. At that time, Robert was charging $1,000 per hour for his services, as well as training people to become image consultants. As a student, I don't have that kind of money, but something within me compelled me to show up at the Ritz-Carlton VIP hotel. He was at. And so I had some courage, and that was what Robert told me. So what happened was I wrote him a letter with what I wanted to say to him, and I handed the letter to the concierge, and they called his room. And when they were calling him, I overheard the room number. So the next day, I called Robert with the room number I overheard. Robert has read my letter, and we spoke over the call. He was very kind, and he told me to finish my studies first, and when the time is right, we will meet again. So 2 years passed, and 2 years later, he came back again as a speaker, and I attended the National Achievers Congress once again. So this time, Robert called me. He actually kept my number, which really touched me, and I was actually very shocked, and I felt so honored and loved. Of course, he didn't train me for free, so I had to go out of my usual thinking patterns to manifest money, which was like $1,000, to be trained as an image consultant. In the end, I did become a certified image consultant trained by Robert Pante, and I end up working with him, putting seminars together where I learned about enrollments, communications, speaking to the listening of others, and many